Exercise 100. So we continue with this Rham representation. Let me put a definition. The Hodge-Tate width of the Rham representation. Let's say call it V. Are those integer I for which the filtration on the Rham away jumps. Are those I for which the filtration on jumps from degree I to degree I plus 1. In other words, such that the graded piece index I is not 0 mode. Those are the Hodge-Tate widths, and we also define what are the multiplicities for that. Hodge-Tate widths. The multiplicity of each I is the k dimension of this graded piece as a k vector space. So example. So we have this Rham QPN is a line with only non-trivial graded piece, graded minus n. So this will be dimension 1. We hence have this Hodge-Tate widths, minus n. And the multiplicity 1 because dimension is 1. So notice that remark. So in this example, if you use contravariant functor, so sometimes people use contravariant functor, which is actually the same as the due of the covariant functor. The definition is actually, so the definition is use the home functor. And if you use this, then Hodge-Tate width become positive and multiplicity 1. This is the reason why sometimes Hodge-Tate widths people are discussing difference via minus sign. Okay, so now let's do the exercise for today. Let's first do recall. Recall that the exercise previous, I guess 2 or 3 videos ago. So we have shown that this functor is exact if it's full tensor functor. Okay. Now we do it today. The refinement. Refinement 1, saying that for any Rham representation of JK over QP, the JK equivariant p-Rham linear comparison isomorphism So this is the one we see that it is always injective and it is isomorphism if and only if the dimension of the two sides are the same. And if that is the case, we define way to be p-Rham admissible, and in that case way is called the Rham representation. Okay, so what we're going to prove is this respects the filtration. And also, and its inverse also. Also preserve filtration. Proof. By construction. So alpha dr itself is filtration compatible. So we need only to show its inverse. It's filtration compatible. The statement is equivalent to showing that the induced B Hodge-Tate linear map JR R on each graded piece is isomorphism. So let's do that. Firstly, we know that graded piece of Rham tensor way the same as Hodge-Tate tensor way. Right, this we have actually quickly do recall. We have done this in the last exercise. So this is field I quotient field I plus 1. This is field I Rham tensor way quotient field I plus 1 Rham tensor way, and so this is isomorphic to just graded piece of Rham tensor way. Right, and this is hence just say of I tensor way, and this is just, you could first do the sum and then tensor, and this gives you the Hodge-Tate tensor. From results before, or let's say recall that the graded piece of graded piece of tensor product is D1 tensor D2 GR D1 tensor GR D2. And so the graded piece Rham tensor over K D Rham is hence the graded piece of the first gives you PHT tensor with the graded piece of the second gives you GR D Rham away. And we know that we have proved the last exercise. So this part is isomorphic to the Hodge-Tate away. And in this case, we notice that the graded piece of alpha dr actually coincide with the following alpha ht, which is when we use this to define what is Hodge-Tate representation. Because so the left hand side we put graded piece of this, but this is just dht away, bht tensor dht away. On the right hand side, it is just a graded piece of Rham, which we have computed. It is exactly this part. And this is an isomorphism. Because this way is the Rham implies that it is Hodge-Tate by the last exercise, 99. And so this is isomorphism. So we are done. Okay. You have checked that on each piece is isomorphism. This is telling that this inverse map also preserves the filtration. remark. Recall that the construction would be the Rham plus as a topological ring with GK action. It depends on OCK endowed with its GK action. Thus, replacing K with complete discrete valued field K prime in CK has, because it's again contained in OCK. I mean it has the same OCK. In other words, OCK prime is OCK. Has no effect on the construction. Aside from replacing JK with the closed subgroup. GK prime within the isometric isomorphic room of CK. And therefore, makes sense to ask if the property of way being the Rham is insensitive to replacing K with such a K prime. The answer is positive. So second remark. So I'm not going to prove this. The proof could be found on the lecture notes online. CMI Summer School p-adic Hodge theory by Brent Conner and Oliver Rham. So for any complete discrete valued field or extension K prime over K inside CK, and any way QP representation of GK the natural map K prime tensor with the Rham K way map to the Rham K prime way. So this is just to distinguish with or precise what is the K. Is an isomorphism in that filter K prime vector space. In particular, way is the Rham as a GK representation. If and only if it is the Rham as GK prime representation. Third remark. In one-dimensional case, Hodge-Tate and the Rham representations are equivalent. Indeed, we already know that one is always implied the other. So, why the converse is true? For the converse, suppose way is one-dimensional. Hodge-Tate representation. That is, it has some Hodge-Tate with I, so if we replace we invert tilt by minus I, recall that. So this process is totally fine because this is the Rham and tensor product with the Rham. The Rham tensor product with the Rham is still the Rham. Or way is the Rham if it's twisted is the Rham. We may reduce to the case when the continuous factor C2 continuous factor C away is Hodge-Tate. With Hodge-Tate widths I mean, we can change the Hodge-Tate width by twist. 0. Hence, this is telling that the fixed point of this one-dimensional representation tensor is CK, and then the fixed point under GK is non-zero. Actually, that's the graded piece, right? So this is because, so this makes way a representation, right? Because we have Hodge-Tate width is 0 means graded piece 0 of the Rham way. The Rham way, or yeah, the Hodge-Tate weight is defined using the Rham. It's not 0, and so this is telling that way. Graded piece 0 is just CK0. Tensor is way and fixed by GK. It's not 0. And here we are using this chapter to define way in the other words. This is this one. This is the CK one-dimensional CK vector space, and the Galois action is through the trivially on CK, but through the C on V, and so it's the same as twist by C. And so this is not 0, then we can apply Tesson. I've recalled last video and also before. C image on this inertial subgroup must be finite. Otherwise, all the continuous cohomology group, including H0, would be 0. When this image is infinite, then H0 and H1 vanish. Otherwise, it is one-dimensional. Okay. Now by choosing, so being the Rham doesn't depend on replacing K by K prime, as we just remarked. By choosing sufficiently ramified finite extension, K prime over K, we can thereby arrange such that C K prime equals 1. words. This is 1. Yeah, because this is finite, and so you could skip this part by considering a ramified finite extension. I'm again thinking about this cyclotomic vector, but in that case, this image is infinite, so you cannot really do that by choosing a finite ramified extension. Yeah, so I put this as a sub-exercise to have a better explanation or more detailed explanation of this. The point is that since the Rham representation is stable, call it the Rham property, is stable, is insensitive. By replacing K to ramified extension completion of K prime. K prime is any finite ramified extension, doesn't matter. And then we reduce it to the case trivial extension, trivial vector, which is the Rham. So we think of this as second part of the exercise. So let me add one more remark. The argument above can be used to show that the exact faithful tensor functor did the Rham from the Rham to filtered space is not fully faithful. This is now good. Losing. So this is caused by this is related to the fact that losing information between good reduction and potentially good reduction. To improve it, or improve the situation, you have to use finer information. To use decrease and be semi-stable. Which has finer structure. Moreover, we will see corresponding functors decrease, so we use this decrease instead of bit Rham when you construct the functor. Well, improve the situation, takes values, though takes values in richer linear algebra category than just this filtered case space. We will know this will be filtered finite modules or filtered finite modules with monodromy trivial.